Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all my students. Okay, we meet again after our special break for Hari Raya. So, selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Maaf zahir batin to all. Okay, we will continue our lesson with a new chapter which is element of multimedia, which is animation. Okay, so this is the outline, what we will learn in this chapter class. Okay, basically you can refer to the scheme of work. So we will learn about what is the captured animation and image sequences. So what is the difference between that? Okay, is it and then what are the basic or the foundation of animation itself? Okay, and then we will learn about what is digital cell. Okay, so this is very basic about the animation concept and also the sprite. Okay, key animation, okay, web animation and flash. Okay, and then we will learn about motion graphics, 3D animation, and the last one we build the virtual reality. Okay, so we go to the first one. Okay, we will discuss on the captured animation and image sequences. So basically class, when we talk about animation, okay, so what you understand about animation? So basically it is actually related to the movement. Okay, so we can say that, or we can define that as the act of making something come alive. Okay, so basically when you think of animation, so you will think about moving object, okay, across or in of the screen. Okay, and then it is related to the series of images are rapidly changed to create an illusion of movement. So it is something you can compare with the video. Okay, but video is basically more on the you record something that is real. Okay, but animation is something that you created the situation or you created the movement. Okay, okay, so this is the definition of what is animation. Okay, the creation of moving pictures or one frame at a time, okay, literally to bring to life. Okay, and then example, you make a sequence of drawing on paper. Okay, for example, you normally when we talk about animation, it is related to the cartoon. Okay, something that you draw or something that you create the characters. For example, you can imagine the movie Upin Ipin, okay, Bobo Boy, the movie, and so on. Okay, so the photograph drawings in a sequence. Okay, so that is the basic concept of animation, where you have the drawing elements, okay, and then you have in the sequence. Okay, means that you the movement is in the sequence or continuous, so that you can when you render or when you make it when you want to make it an animation, so it will become something that is move. Okay, you can see the difference. So for example, you want to have bouncing ball. Okay, so in the real situation, so you use the ball to bounce. Okay, but when you want to create animation, so you draw the bouncing ball movement. Okay, okay, so we will see this is example of animation that maybe you have used in the, for example, in PowerPoint. Okay, maybe in any software that have the we call that the animation or the transition. Okay, okay, so what is the most important part is animation. Okay, this is two basic principles where you have persistence of vision and also the pi, which is the psychological. Okay, so we know that the concept of animation is a series of images are rapidly changed. Okay, so means that the animation is combination of more than one image that you draw. Okay, so when you combine all the images, but make sure the images is related, it is a series. Okay, it is in the sequence. Okay, so it will change to make a movement or illusion. Okay, so the concept of animation that we use is actually the persistence of vision, where you use the vision or your eyes to see the movement. Okay, and then when we talk about psychological, how you interpret okay, how you interpret the animation using your emotion and also the psychology elements. Okay, so this is example of persistent of vision where you use your eyes to see what we have here in the movement. Okay, from the very basic pictures, okay, and then this is the psychological where you interpret, okay, what you can see. So maybe person A and B will interpret differently. Okay, and then we see the concept of principles of animation, okay, where you also have the frames. Okay, so this is a series of frame. You can see the movement of the horses, okay, riding horses, riding horses, where you can see, okay, this is the movement or the series. So you will see the different movement of the legs of the horse. Okay, so, and then flickering is something that you move the movement, okay, flickering, it's not smooth. Okay, so you can see the different the in the video, okay, in this slide. Okay, move on. Okay, we look at the concept of digital cell and sprite animation. So I will discuss on the difference between traditional animation and also the computer animation later on. Okay, but we discuss on the first one. Okay, for the traditional methods, okay, when we talk about animation, so the concept of animation is this actually the sequence of images. Okay, so last time, okay, during the traditional methods where we don't have the computer, so most of the time we draw. Okay, so how we draw? So basically it use the painting on the papers. Okay, so for example, when you want to have a minute of film, okay, so imagine a minute, so you need to have not only one drawings, okay, one drawing, so you have more than one. For example, you have 1440 drawings for every minute of a film. So making animation movie or film is not easy. So that's why when we see the Upin Ipin, okay, cartoon, I think last time we only have 5 minutes to 10 minutes, okay, segment, okay, because 5 minutes animation, okay, take, I think, I do not know how many drawings, okay, but it takes a lot of effort. Okay, and then we have the cell, okay, using the cell. After that, okay, when you draw the animation, after that you will paint the animation, okay, cut out, and you will have the clay animation, or you render. With the terms nowadays is using the render. You combine the animation. Okay, so we look at the cell animation concept, okay, where we have the keyframes. So this one will also apply in the computer animation. Okay, what is the keyframe? Refer to the first and the last frame of an action. So you will know this class once we will learn about the software. Okay, we will learn Flash or Adobe Animation. Okay, Adobe Animator, where you can create your own animation. Okay, so the concept of animation, we will use the frame. So each frame, you imagine that you have one drawing. Okay, so basically for the keyframes is actually the starting and end of the action. For example, you want to bounce a ball. Okay, so what is the first or frame that you want to draw? Okay, so maybe you want to throw the ball. Okay, or the ball is on the top. Okay, after that, the last frame, okay, where is the ball? Okay, that is we call the keyframe. Okay, so the frame in the between of the keyframe, the last and the first, okay, we are drawn in the twinning process. Okay, so twinning process depict the action that take place between keyframes. So it is followed by the pencil test. Okay, so all these terms we will use also in the computer animation. Okay, so this is the imagination, okay, how you draw, okay, using the cell. So you imagine the cell is something like your drawing paper, okay. Okay, so cell animation, again, it is a technique, okay, which a series of progressively different graphics, okay. So this is actually the definition of animation also. Right, used on each frame of movie film. So cell animation, also known as hand-drawn animation, uses a number of celluloid sheet. Okay, so celluloid sheet is a cell, we call it also the cell. Alright. Okay, so you imagine you want to have this composite images where you have okay, two characters here and object, different object, okay, background. So this is the cell. We imagine that character 1, okay, we have one cell, character 2, we have one cell, one drawing, and also the background. So this is the difference of the layers that we have. Okay, when you use this one is using the concept of the computer. Okay, when you want to use computer, is actually can reduce the time and also easy to compose or render. Okay. So once you combine all the characters here, you can see that you have the composite images. Okay, so this is the very basic cell animation process. Okay, I just give you some idea how it starting. Okay, from the keyframes where you draw the characters, you draw the animation using the cell. Okay, after that, okay, you have the twinning. Okay, you draw the action between the keyframes, okay, the start and the end of the animation. Okay, and then pencil test. Okay, you test. Okay, you imagine that you when you have video, you just play, okay, to see how it move. Okay, and after that you have the ink and pen. Okay, you draw, you give the colors to your drawing. Okay. Okay, so this is a captured animation definition, okay, where you have computer, video, okay, and also the traditional technique. Okay, so this is how you capture your animation. Okay, you use you can refer to the example of the real movement, okay, and then you copy how it move and you draw the movement. Okay. So frame grabbing, what is that? Okay, record each frame to the disk. So this is the very basic, okay, of the animation. And then after that you save as QuickTime, edit nonlinear like a video. So this is example, okay, of the technique where you create your animation. Or you can also use scanner or digital camera to create the images for each frame. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, instead of you draw each of the frame, so you can use digital camera to capture all the movement. So in video class we have the motion video concept, okay, where you have the you capture all the pictures, okay, and then you render it and it will become some sort like video. Okay. Okay, so what is digital cell? So use layers, okay, like a sheet. So in the tradition we call that celluloid. Okay, so you imagine you draw in a drawing block. Okay, so same as that concept used in the computer. Okay, for example, you draw, okay, the first picture here is drawing using hand, the characters, okay, and then you can scan it to make it digital into the software. Okay, this is another example where you use the cell, okay, to draw. Okay, and this is an example of the software that you use to make it digital. Okay, so use layers. Okay, you imagine you draw in a Photoshop each of the characters to make it digital, and then you use one of the software, for example Adobe Animation, to make it animation. Okay, all right. So okay, so what is Sprite animation? To store a single copy of all static elements and moving objects and a description of how the object move. So each sprite can be a collection of images, okay, called sprite faces, which can be substituted in sequence to produce composite motion. Okay, so it is you can imagine that this is a collection of how Doraemon walk. Okay, so we'll go to this link to see the detail of the sprite animation. So you can go to this link to learn more. Okay, so what is sprite? Okay, this one is we have the tutorial you can follow. Okay, so there are various ways to create sprite animation. One way is to create them from a sprite sheet, okay, which is a collection of sprites arranged in a grid. So these sprites are compiled into an animation clip that will play each sprite in order to create the animation, much like a flipbook. Okay, flipbook. So sprite animation can also be created by using Keyframe Animation. So this is actually the collection or the library of your movement. Okay, so you can go detail, to see to get more understanding on the sprite animation. Okay, so this is all the movement. Okay, it is a static one. Okay, the drawing, the collection of how the Doraemon walk. Okay, but you store in a single copy. Okay, so we call that a sprite. Okay, next. Okay, now we move to the computer animation. Okay, class. Actually the concept of computer animation similar to the cell animation. Okay, using the concept of celluloid. Okay, but we are using the computer to render or computer to edit the animation characters. Okay, so the primary difference is in how much we must draw by animator. Okay, so you will know the basic of keyframe. You have the start and end. So in the between, okay, you need to have the frames. So each of the frame you need to have the movement. So in the last time in the traditional method, you need to draw all the frames. Okay, let's say you have 30 frames, 30 movements. Okay, 30 different movements. So you need to draw all the movements. Okay, but using the computer animation, so maybe you only need to draw maybe instead of start and end, maybe you need to have in the between of frames, not all the frames you need to draw. Okay, so it will the animation will be created by the or generated by the software. Okay, so it will reduce the time and also the cost. Okay, what we have in the computer animation, okay, how the software learn about the movement is using the concept of kinematics. Okay, it is a study of movement and motion of structure that have joints. Okay, so this is the concept of the kinematics. So you can see I think we have so many movie. I cannot name one, you can remember, but some of the movie using animation concept or the graphic CGI. Okay, so they are using the real movement from the human, okay, using special effect, okay, special equipments. Okay, for example hand glove. Okay, so ada tangan. Okay, so they are using green screen, okay, to create the animation into the digital. Okay. Okay, another terms that we have inverse kinematics, process of linking objects, okay, and defining their relationship. Okay, so from the movement, so how you link the object between the movement and also the characters. Okay, so that we call the and then the limit of the movement we call the inverse kinematic. Okay, another term we have in the computer animation, morphing, okay, which is effect in which a still or moving image is transformed into another. Okay, for example, I think, okay, we have apps, okay, to create your picture, okay, your version of face from old to young. Okay, that is the morphing, how it change your face. Okay. Okay, so this is example of the file formats used in animation. Okay, so the famous one or the most of the time that you are using is the flash. Okay, FLA is a flash and SWF is the file format for the player. So this is 3D Studio Max. Okay, this is 3D. Okay, and then we also have director. Okay, so one of the authoring tools, okay, for creating also the animation. Okay, and also we have the GIF 89A format. Okay, so this is the version for GIF. Okay, I think you know what is a GIF. Okay, so allow multiple images to be put into a single file and then displayed as an animation in a web browser. Okay, so the file you save as a JPEG. The file size is also small size. Okay, you can just put in the your elements. Okay, same as what I have include here. Okay, this is the GIF file format. Okay, next we look at the keyframe animation. Okay, so in the traditional, again, how it works. So you need to have the start and end, okay, of the keyframe. So normally in the traditional method, okay, we have keyframe drawn, okay, because traditionally you only use drawing concept, okay, by chief animators, okay, and then in the between drawn by less skilled animators, okay, because the start and end, okay, is the most important part. Okay, you need to imagine how the animation works. Okay, so this is example here, class. Okay, this is the start of the bouncing ball. Okay, and then this is a keyframe. Okay, so the between how the ball is bouncing and how it changed the features, so you need to imagine, so you can create. Okay, in traditional you need to draw frame by frame. Okay, but in the computer base, okay, keyframe drawn explicitly, okay, means that you need to have some of the keyframes. So let's say I have 3 points here, 3 keyframe. Okay, so I only have 3 picture here, so the rest will be rendered, okay, by the software, or by it will be interpolated by the software, created by the software. Okay, so this is example how the people jump, a person jump. Okay, so that you can imagine how you can draw it. Okay. Okay, so if you can see this, okay, this is the example in the software. For example, Adobe Flash, where we have the keyframes. Okay, I will show it for during the tutorial for the software. Okay, so this is example, class. Again, okay, this is each of the red color for the ball here is the keyframe. Okay, and then in the between of the keyframe here, supposedly you need to draw. Okay, but using computer animation, okay, the software will create the frames for the whole process. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, we look at how you can include animation in the web. Okay, and then okay, what is the Flash? Okay. Okay, so basically, I think Flash is like I said, is most popular animation, okay, for the web. So most of the website, okay, that want to have the animation, so they are using the SWF format. Okay, where we normally use created by the Micromedia Flash. Okay, so in our syllabus, okay, we will use the Flash or the animator. So we will discuss later on the tutorial session. Okay, it is actually SWF is actually the vector animation format. Okay, so if you remember that we have learned about image BMP, bitmap, and also the vector image. Okay. Okay, and then motion represented as a numeral operation on the vector data. So you can actually the basic of animation, as we have learned earlier. Okay, it is based on the collection or sequence of the images. Okay. Okay, and then we look at the Flash. Okay, so what you will learn in your tutorial session, so you will learn about the Flash concept. Okay, this is the very basic about the Flash concept, where we have the timeline. Okay, if you can see in the diagram here, the picture here. Okay, so this is the timeline concept, where you can have the time, okay, 1, 5, 10. Okay, that is the time for each of the frame. Okay, so timeline is actually the graphical representation of sequence of a frame. So each of the one bar there is represent one frame, and each of the frame you need to have the animation or drawing, okay, of the movement. So, and then we have the keyframe is the concept in the traditional method. We also apply it in the computer software, okay, where you draw from previous and transform it. Okay, so you will learn in the tutorial session where it is very interesting to create your own animation. Okay, and then you have the simple frame, okay, which is the frame of each of in the timeline. Okay, and also you have the stage, okay, the white color here. Okay, this is the stage where you can see what you have created, okay, what you have drawn in the each of the frame. Okay, so it will represent or it will display in the stage. Okay, so you can also import bitmap as object, add text, so you can include that in your animation timeline. Okay, so we will learn detail that in our tutorial session. Okay, now we move to the motion graphics. Okay, so what is motion graphics? So it is like time-based graphic design, okay, where you have your graphic, okay, collection of your graphic, and then you draw each of the graphic and you apply it, okay, where you can give filters and effect, okay, and for example you use After Effects software. Okay, and from that you also can create from the motion graphic concept. You can also create the animation. Okay, for example, you want to have butterfly, okay, and flying in the air. Okay, so you can use the motion graphic concept where you draw, okay, it in the, for example, After Effects is one of the video software. Okay, so you can use that also to create the animation. Okay, edit the picture or combine all the pictures. Okay, so let's say you have 100 drawing, so you can arrange it so that it will make or it will become the animation. Okay, complete animation. Okay, so this is the animated GIF, same as GIF. Okay, so this is example. Okay, so no browser plugin, so GIF is actually a very simple animation concept. Okay, so for the 3D animation in our syllabus, I will need not detail or very detail on the 3D animation. Okay, we just know the what is 3D. So basically we have the concept of the if you only 3D, so means that you have the real situation or real you can imagine that your animation is much more real than the 2D. Okay, so for example 2D is something that flat, okay, so you can only see on the certain angle, but for the 3D you can look in the different angle. Okay, so for example for the properties of 3D model, so you can have shape, size, position, rotation, depth, and so on. Okay, for that models, so if you have seen the movie, okay, the difference between 2D and 3D, so you can see the difference of that. Okay, where you have for the 3D you can feel much more real, okay, in terms of the characters. Okay, so animate a scene by changing the numbers, rendering a new frame, changing further, you will become the 3D concept. Okay, and then can make object move or move the camera. So this is all the process that we have in the 3D animation. So in our syllabus class we don't go much further on the 3D animation. Okay, the last part in our syllabus in animation, which is the virtual reality. Okay, so what is virtual reality? So means that, okay, you use a computer generated simulation, Okay, you simulate things, okay, to make it real. Okay, you can feel the environment or the object using special equipment. Okay, it is actually using the concept of 3D environment. Okay, because for example you want to see your house, okay, using the VR, so you can imagine that you seems like you enter the house, okay, in the real situation. Okay, that is the VR. So most of the time VR is using for the games, for example. Okay, so you can feel much more real. Okay, and then the situation is very interesting. Okay, but actually other than that, okay, VR is also used for other nowadays we also use for other sectors. Okay, for example for the health, okay, health and where you can use that for the treatment, okay, patient treatment. Okay, so strictly VR is an immersive sensory experience. Okay, so when you talk about VR, so you can imagine that it is very real. Okay, it will copy the real environment, you can feel the situation and so on. Okay, so this is example of the equipment that you have. Okay, head mounted display, data glove, haptic interface. Okay, so basically this equipment is very expensive. Okay, for example you want to have the head mounted display. Okay, because if you are not using the head mounted display, so you cannot see that VR. Okay, same as 3D, you need to use special spectacles. Okay, so through a virtual reality viewer, users can look up, down, or any which way as if they were actually there. Okay, so VR has many use cases, okay, including entertainment, gaming, or acting, or sales. So this is environment that you or sectors that use the VR. But because of the cost, okay, because of the equipment, so that's why VR is one of the technology that quite expensive. Okay, so that's why it's not apply to all the sectors. Okay, but it is actually very good. Okay, the influence or the impact of VR is very good in all areas. For example, if you want to learn about or if you want to make experiment, okay, chemistry, for example, you take chemistry subject, physics subject, okay, you want to do the experiment. So if you are using the VR, it will become more realistic. But if we cannot apply that in the education sector because of the budget or the price of the equipment. Okay, if the equipment is not so expensive, I think mostly nowadays we will use VR in the education. Okay, all right. Okay, so you can go to these links, okay, to get more references. You can refer to the textbook making it work to read more about the animation chapter. Okay, all right, thank you class. I think that's all, okay, for the animation topic. Okay, so thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.